1-0 to Manchester United. Hashtag PL today. Is that it for Spurs now when it comes to the title race? And Manchester United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is that it for him, ticking the box to take the United job? That's probably where we should start, because all the attention in the run-up to this deal was about either Pochettino off to Old Trafford or whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, how he would survive this first test.
You know, I think both managers got it absolutely spot on at the weekend. I think the way that they went about the game, the way that their teams approached the game, the setup, they both tried to win. An ideal result would have been, being a Man United fan as well, would have been 0-0. But there had to be goals. There was so many efforts on target. De Gea was great, and it took such a fine finish to split the two teams, because they both played incredibly well. Man United brilliant in the first half, Tottenham brilliant in the second half. Yeah,
I mean, they certainly had opportunities in the second half. Spurs. This Manchester United team, were you expecting this setup from Ole?
Yes, because when I've been watching them of late, they've had a lot of the ball against Tottenham. I think it was very clever, Solskjaer, saying, look, we're going to give up a little bit of possession. And on the counter in the first half especially, I thought they were brilliant. I felt sorry for Spurs. People were saying Spurs should have got something out of the game, as in leading towards a draw. They should have won the game, Spurs. The amount of chances they created. David De Gea just had one of those games where just incredible. You come off the back of a World Cup where you thought, has he lost his edge? He's not playing at the same level where last season people were saying he was the best in the world. That performance yet again from him was the difference, because Spurs should have scored 2 or 3 in the second half at least.
Can we insert the little caveat that Spurs have been playing, 52 games this week, and they've been off warm weather training?
Nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
All right. I've got to say, I saw a stat from Opta this morning, and it surprised me. And it was, they had more, and I think they call it high-level sprints, Man United, than they've had under Jose Mourinho all season in that 90 minutes. And what they were doing, they were saying to Tottenham, look, you can have a piece of the ball. As soon as you give the ball away, we are all over you. When Trippier gave the ball away for the first goal, Pogba was all over the second one. They got the ball back, lovely ball from him. Rashford finished. But they'd done that about 5 or 6 times early on in the first half an hour and never come off of them. That final ball just let them down. But the threats were there for United. They were just setting traps for Tottenham, saying, look, we'll allow you to have possession, but the second you are sloppy, we are going to be sprinting forward and committing bodies forward.
What's back at United, and we spoke about this under Mourinho, there was no harmony. The harmony's back now. Everybody's together, everybody's pulling the same way, everybody's happy and smiling. And when you've got a happy camp with a lot of quality in it, you'll see some great performances.
I don't think Jose wins that game.
No?
I think if Jose's in charge of Tottenham...
they might nick a draw.
I think best case scenario, 0-0.
Nick a draw, exactly.
I don't think they win that.
I don't think we need to talk about him anymore, do we? I mean, this era is done, dusted and settled. Let's talk about the goal then, because we were all saying before, Vertonghen's back, there's an area to exploit.
Well, look at the
Marcus
trap.
Rashford.
This is the trap I'm talking about. As soon as Trippier gives the ball away, stunning ball from Paul Pogba. It's a really good ball. The weight of pass is brilliant. He's asking Marcus Rashford 1v1, can you finish it?
Yeah.
Unbelievable finish, yet I would still ask questions of Hugo Lloris, how he gets beaten so easily. It is into the side net, and so I'm not saying it's a bad finish or a lucky finish. It's a great finish. However, if David De Gea is in those nets for Tottenham, I'm pretty sure he gets closer to that.
You know, that goal in particular, you know, if we can see that goal again, I'll explain how Rashford's first touch is just impeccable. The ball, as Don said, from Pogba is great because he doesn't have to touch the ball. And what you want is you want the ball being played for you, not to you. Play it for me. I'll run onto it. And he just slows his run down a little bit and he takes a little half volley, doesn't it? Pushes it perfectly forward. And then he finds the only spot that Lloris can't get to. He just cannot get there because it's right in the corner. And I just think the quality of the finish is what that game needed. If you see here, the pass that Don mentioned there.
If that's short, Rashford has to take a touch.
Absolutely. And then Vertonghen's back. And one-on-one defending, Vertonghen's very good.
Yeah,
but he's gone past Vertonghen. And you just see that little, that strike with the inside of his right boot. That's the corner. That's the only place. And it was possibly 2 balls width that he could have just... It was just incredible. You know, not for me... The keeper's got no chance. No chance.
What shows that up even more is then when Tottenham did have those chances, particularly in the second half, and there were places they could have maybe stuck it to score. De Gea's there, yes, brilliant saves, 11 of them, but also you're just questioning at times. Look at the 95% of the rest of the goal that you could have stuck in.
Yeah, well, that's the difference, isn't it? When you've got someone like Marcus Rashford who's lethal, and a very, very good finisher. You look at the Tottenham chances, and most of them were at David Gea. You expect him to make these saves. You know, that's agility where he gets across to his left-hand side. And Dele Alli, once you're 1v1, you have to find a corner. You've got to keep it away from De Gea. That one there is probably the best save. And then from then on, we saw this type of performance from him where you could be there for another 2 hours, you ain't scoring.
Yeah. You see, for me, David De Gea's first thought is not to save it. And what I mean by that, his first thought isn't to save it, isn't to how can I get across, how can I make it look good and tip it. His first thought is to stop it. That's his first thought. Don't let it go behind me. So if it means I've got to use my legs all day, I'll do it. A lot of keepers will think, well, I've got to save it, got to move my feet out the way to save it and hold on to it. Where he thinks, just get it away.
For the older viewers,
the line's there, just get it away.
For the older viewers, there's like Pat Jennings in there. He didn't necessarily make loads of saves with his hands, did he?
That's me and you, the older viewers.
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
He was that type of goalkeeper where, listen, you stop with your feet, fine. Doesn't matter how you stop it.
Look at that, look.
You know, he stayed up, stands brave there, so that reminds you of Peter Schmeichel a little bit, where he doesn't go to the ground. That's a brilliant save, because that's a reaction. You know, he's pulling saves off there again. He thought, I haven't got time to go to the ground and save it with my right hand because it might go between my legs, so why not just stick my right foot on it and save it?
Stop it going to the net.
It's just orthodox goalkeeping.
You on the wind-up for Spurs fans saying that if Pat Jennings was still playing...
No, I'm just saying he's got those types of saves in his locker.
Well, talking about historical references to goalkeepers, Solskjaer was talking about the performance of De Gea and how he rates him compared to some of the Manchester United greats.
There's maybe one or two fantastic saves, and the rest of it was just about concentration and being in the right position. And we've had some great keepers at this club, and I think he's challenging both Edwin and Peter for the #1 spot historically.
Where do you rate him?
Oh,
it's a hard one, isn't it? I've had some good ones.
Oh, narrow it down. Where do you rate him in Manchester United history?
Oh, he's the best at Man United now. Schmeichel, I'm not so sure. Not so sure whether he's above Peter Schmeichel.
He's not above Peter Schmeichel at the moment.
In the world now, I think you can compile a list of 4 or 5. I think you could narrow it down to probably 3. And I'd put Jan Oblak in there, David De Gea and Ederson. Whichever one you like, I'll take the other 2.
What about Man United, though?
What do you mean?
Greats.
He ain't better than Schmeichel.
Not yet, is he? He's not yet. No,
Schmeichel was pulling off saves from me and Dion for about 50 years. He's the best ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's the best the Premier League's seen.
I think Schmeichel put you off before you even walked on the pitch.
Yes, he was I played with Peter Schmeichel. He was a horrible man. He was a horrible man, hated losing.
Huge.
His aggression was incredible. So if you did go one-on-one, if ever the ball was in the box and it was going to be crossed and you heard him shout keepers, you'd actually move out the way. You'd let him have it because you were going to get crushed.
I would put probably David De Gea ahead of Van der Sar.
Is he more like Van der Sar?
Yes, I think that's a fair comment. I think it was more so the stature and the size of Schmeichel. And he had that star-like save, didn't he, when he would spread himself.
Yeah. Amazing.
Listen, amazing goalkeepers, all 3. I would like to have a conversation with any Man United fan that says he's better than Peter Schmeichel.
There's the challenge. #PL today. Feel free to have it. What he has had, though, he's had at times maybe games where he's not necessarily been the best.
No, he hasn't, and I think it's just over time he's evolved and he's got better. When he first came to the country and he played for Man United, he didn't want to come for crosses. He stayed at home. He was weak. He wasn't confident. He didn't talk. The defence didn't trust him. When Rio and Vidic set that partnership up, the triangle worked then. It was the 3 of them that sorted the defence out. And
he had a strange World Cup as well, didn't he? Had a really bad World Cup, and you thought, what's happening there?
Made some silly mistakes.
But we saw these type of performances from him before. You go back to the Arsenal game, you know, where he was just truly magnificent, pulling off saves left, right and centre, a little bit like the Tottenham game at the weekend. And sometimes you watch a game and you just think, for Arsenal, you're just thinking, how on earth have Arsenal not scored 5? It's because of the goalkeeping and the standard of goalkeeping, and he sets the bar really, really high. And when United are vulnerable, which every team is at every sort of stage or every now and again where there's a game in the Premier League where you do get a battering, you want your goalkeeper to be pulling off saves.
Can I ask you, as fans, when you're sat watching this, you're thinking, it's just not going to go in for us today. As players, does that seep out to you? Is there a point at which...
a little bit.
Yeah.
I think you have to be... It's easier when you're sitting here, but when you're in the hot seat, as in playing, you have to be a little bit smarter in your finish. Try and put them in the top corners. You know, that's the difference between normal goalkeepers. You could maybe get it at your feet and shift one, put it in the bottom corner. If David De Gea is pulling off those saves in and around him, it makes you think as a player, and you haven't really got loads of time, right, I've got to go for stanchion. So your margin of error is a lot smaller.
Definitely.
Therefore, you make mistakes in front of the goal.
Yeah, because you're trying to
because of how good the goalkeeper is.
Yeah, you're trying to be so cute with your finish. I mean, mainly, natural goal scorers will do that. I expected Harry Kane to score because he has so many chances. Rashford scored because he is a natural goal scorer. Lukaku in that position, I'm not too sure. Martial in that position, I'm not too sure. Harry Kane, Rashford, I expect them to
Messi's
score.
in there, and we're talking about one of the greatest of all time.
Of course, yeah.
He'd be smarter in his finish. He'd be identifying David De Gea, brilliant when the ball's in, low at him, footwork good strong left hand, right hand, good with his feet. So therefore, you'd start putting in top corners. But we're splitting ridiculous heads.
We are, yes.
Yeah, unlike you two. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we've concentrated perhaps on the work he's done with Pogba, with Rashford. Nice to maybe see the reflection on the work that he's done with De Gea. If we look at his results then, 6 in a row, it was said about coming into this game against Spurs that this was the marker.
It was.
This was how far he's come.
Well, it was because
Look at that.
I think me and Dion said that the other games, Cardiff, Huddersfield, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Jose would have won those games in my opinion. They were easy fixtures for Man United, but they wouldn't have won them in the style. So therefore, those sort of 4 fixtures leads them into the Tottenham game, 5 fixtures, excuse me, where they lead them into the Tottenham game where you think, right, they're going into that game with more freedom, with more confidence, more self-belief. Jose would have won all those games leading up to Newcastle and probably would have lost the Tottenham one.
But the players, the teams, the first 4 teams that we see there would have gone into those games with a little bit more hope, having Mr. Mourinho gone, I think, or Man United a week, so they would have gone into those teams, those games stronger. That was an easy batch of fixtures that they've got past. You know, what's coming up for them now is a little bit more tricky, but I still expect them
Where's
to
the
get
sticky ones then?
You see,
She says, looking at Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you see, that's a huge game. Leicester away. You know, King Power can be bouncing, can be difficult, and they've not had great times there.
No.
Man United.
I mean, United would love to get to that Liverpool game and then derail Liverpool for the title, wouldn't they? I mean, what a season for them.
So Man United should have at least
Brighton.
9 points before they get to Liverpool.
I'm not so sure. I think they beat Brighton. I think they beat Burnley.
They should have 9 points, Dom. In the form they're in, they should have 9 points before they get to.
If I was Ollie, I'd take 7 from 9. I'd take a draw against Leicester.
Okay.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
They could go and win them.
Which is not
I
bad,
don't
is
think
it?
they're losing those 3.
Man City would have taken a draw against Leicester.
Yeah.
So, with all that we've said about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the results that have gone, the results to come, perhaps, would you give him the job?
Yes.
Now?
Right now, yes. Absolutely.
That's a big call.
It's a
Well,
massive
it
call.
settles the team then, doesn't it?
I just don't know how you can't give it, because there's no reason to say no. There's no reason to say no.
But we're talking today, you'd probably give him it today. But what if the results go badly and then the Champions League comes around, they get spanked in the Champions League, then all of a sudden it does go a little bit awry where 1 or 2 players go, do you know what, he's not the manager for me. Because I've seen it before with Leicester when they've went through a spate of managers and I've never liked, I've been open on it, I've never liked what the Leicester players do to the managers of Leicester. I'd like to see this dressing room when they're under a little bit of pressure. If they react for Solskjaer and they react in the right way, then yes, 100%.
I can't see one player that's not benefited by. I can't see it. Every single Man United player, whether you're on the bench or not, has benefited from the new manager coming in, changing the feeling in the camp. Having been to the training ground a few times, he's changed. Everybody's involved again now. It's all about us.
He's going to have big calls though when Lukaku's 100% fit.
Yeah.
You know, when Sanchez is 100% fit, he's going to have to leave 1 or 2 out.
But he'll deal with it in a way where they'll still be involved and they'll still be not happy to be on the bench, but they'll deal with it and they'll still want to play a team part in it.
Maybe the flip side to that question is who you bring in over him.
Yeah.
Instead
He's
of
available.
That's Manchester United then. If a defeat for Tottenham wasn't bad enough, we then see Harry Kane getting up in instalments, injured, coming off at the end, same left ankle as he injured last season.
It's a shocker. And it comes back to the conversation when Spurs in the summer didn't go out and buy anyone, didn't buy a replacement. I
didn't realise that they actually rocked his ankle again.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a stamp, but it's actually the exact same thing that he did before. If you watch, it's hard to see from here, but on the second angle, I think it is, He actually, what we call rocks his ankle, so he sort of rolls it. Watch his left ankle only. It sort of goes, this is the next angle's the one where you see him just roll it. Just watch his left ankle, just there.
Oh, so it's lateral.
And that is where the ligaments, which have just recovered from an injury from last season, will still be weak. And anything like that, normally they hurt, but you normally get on with it and you keep it moving and you're right. But because he's already done it, what happens with your ligaments will start like that. And then last season he would have gone like ripped back together again. But they'll be weaker this time, so they'll be slightly like that. And they'll rip again. So it's really difficult to get over that.
Welcome to the medical 90 minutes in the company
Dr.
of Dion Dublin. Dr. Dion is here at your service, as always. Right, for Spurs then, a little bit of rocking, not just of the ankle, but of their title chances too. Flip to Liverpool and a resounding result for them this weekend.
Good performance.
Yeah.
Big